about each of these and let this committee know, where they stand. The used oil grant, the mayor just brought that, the final copy of that. The governor hasn't announced that. I saw it come out in the media. Carter County was approved for it. And Benny, you want to talk about that?
Used oil grant is basically $27,500, and that is to put used oil burning heaters. One in the recycle building, which we presently do not have heat in, and one in the maintenance garage at the landfill. And it's also going to buy 2 pumps, one air operated and one electric, to transfer the oil from the convenience center to the transfer station to put in tanks to burn this oil for heat. So, and I've actually had some people already come by and start looking at our buildings to measure them and work through the bid process. So that's ongoing.
Got a question on this. Are there going to be enough used oil out here to keep these tanks full?
That's a good question. I've been thinking the same thing, Mr. Lewis.
Now, the reason I ask, there are a lot of these garages that has used oil. They have their own oil burner, and they use what they get for themselves. And probably somebody maybe like Advance Auto, maybe Walmart, the only place you probably get any used oil.
Actually, Mr. Lewis, we have a lot of citizens bring used oil in.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Where they change their own oil, and then the oil comes out of our equipment when we change it. We utilize that as well. Last year we recycled the neighborhood 1,500 gallons of used oil. That's a fairly substantial amount of oil.
Do you have a burn rate on these units on the side of them?
No, sir, I don't, because we're still in the bid process.
Right here.
So if you get the burn rates, then you can figure
How many gallons per hour?
roughly what you need, and then if you don't pick up that much, go to somebody like Grindstaff down there.
In most of these cases, I know the school bus garage, see, they're recycling that oil and they're selling it. And I would dare say that Grindstaff and local business people, basically, when I read this grant, what it's going after is the do-it-yourself, citizens of Carter County, that oil, they've got a place to take that to keep it from going in the ground. So it's one of those things Mr. Lewis mentioned about advertising in our last meeting. There's going to come a point where I think it's going to be a good idea to do some advertising, letting people.
You can help us with that right now.
Yes, they can. Letting people know that we are doing this, and it's going to heat our workers and those type things. And welcome Sheriff Mathis, welcome Mr. Chris Craig. We're glad to have you both with us today. With that said, moving on to the front load dumpsters, we'll update on those. As everybody knows, we originally came up with we needed 80 of those, and we plan on filing for the recycling grant that Mr. Craig has told us about. My last conversation with him, he hadn't received any paperwork, and from that shake of his head, I assume that he still hasn't received that.
I knew the question would come up. I actually tried to call this morning and can't get an answer.
Right, but we're strongly awaiting that to come about. It has slowed our process down, but with that said, we did receive 40 of the dumpsters. Benny purchased those. The guy honored that price with only one difference, and Benny and I talked to the mayor about it. We talked to Ingrid after our meeting with him, and it was $17 per dumpster and more that we had to pay for these 40, and that was because of the slot, and we thought that was acceptable. It cost us just a little bit more, but if somehow he ends up with those 80 and the 40 more, he said that he would try to give us that money back if he wins the bid out, because we'll have to bid the other 40 out. But all those are set; they're in place. All of the county schools have a paper and cardboard recycling. We're already seeing cardboard come in. The second phase of that will be the paper, and we'll get to that in just a second, and I'll let Sheriff talked to you about the recycling containers, but Benny and I went out 3 days. Sonia went out with us 1 day, and we visited each and every school. We talked to probably, I think we might have missed 1 or 2 principals of the schools, but we got to speak with several of the cafeteria supervisors, and everybody's just tickled to death. A lot of people have been awaiting a program like this. They've been trying to do it without the proper tools, and you know, we have been able to get them you know, some tools to do this. And with that said, I'm gonna turn it over now to I'm gonna skip a couple of things on the agenda. But Sheriff Mathis, do you want to tell them about our recycling containers that you got on order and things?
Well, let me break on y'all a little bit. I appreciate working with you and with Benny. Just so you know, we're at the jail. We've had trying to get in and out of that. I think Joel was shocked that he saw the amount of cardboard that we've had just from stuff coming in. Well, we brought a container in. I don't know whether, I think we dumped it twice, didn't we? I mean, one of the big containers got dumped full of twice the cardboard, and we're still not done over there. So we've saved all that and going to set a cardboard container or dumpster over there when we're done as well. So we've done that. Have you got that drawing?
I do.
If you'll pass that around. These are we worked, golly, we went through, I don't know how many meetings Benny and Joel and I have had. Your chairman of this committee is tenacious. He beats you up pretty hard. He wears you out, and I'll give him credit, but we've worked very hard on trying to, everything from building these containers to getting involved. We were able to come at the most price efficient, cost efficient, and we did it all now. Within, they told me less than 3 weeks, we will have 800 of these containers that you're seeing. One side of them has the stamp, which we had to use it for the grant, the stop litter. Tennessee's had enough. TDOT, Carter County Sheriff's Office on one side. The flip side of it, we've got We Recycle, Carter County We Recycle. I put the Carter County Commission's name on there. And we put the landfill's proper name on there. Solid Waste and Sheriff's Department. These are going to go in every county school, every office building, and the city school. So we've hit every container that's going to be there, and we were hoping we were getting one of our high schoolers to do their skit today, but they're actually practicing today. They don't have it down pat yet. We're going in all the schools with our litter program again, and they'll be adding this as part of their skit in there. But I think you'll be very impressed with this container that's going to go in every single classroom in this county, and for the purpose of recycling paper.
How about a question, sir?
Yes.
Are you gonna pick one of these?
It's already
It's
already
already
and I
Oh, one
apologize.
front side, one back side?
Yes, sir.
We did both sides.
Yes.
It's a green container, and it has the recycling symbol on them. It puts the stop litter message out there. We were able to pay for that out of the grant. And sends a clear message in it. And again, it says compliments of the Carter County Commission, Solid Waste and Recycling, and the Carter County Sheriff's Office on one side, and then again the stop litter message on the other side. So these are very durable containers. We looked at some that we think these will hold up for quite some time. And as I pass them around, and again, these are just blow-ups of each of those emblems that's going to be stamped on each side.
And they're stackable.
Yeah, they are stackable, but we expect them to be in the next less than 3 weeks to be able to distribute those.
Now, Joel weight tested those, and we know they'll hold up to 150 pounds.
Well, they'll hold up over the long haul. They're like the sheriff said. Thank you, Sheriff Mathis. They're going to be very durable, and you know, we just seen a ton of people just excited about it. And this is getting it started. You know, we're taking sure steps. They're baby steps, but they're sure steps. But we've got a long way to go. You know, when Benny done a report for me comparing our recycling efforts this year, and on the dollar amount in the calendar year 2010 versus 2011 calendar year, not our physical year, we were up $14,000. So you know, I commend Mr. Lyons for his efforts, and as well as this committee's and the media. I can't say enough about the media guys, because they're on board with this. They've given us positive articles, and you can tell from the way they're writing those articles, they're trying to help. They know this is an area that we can grow in Carter County. We're way behind, and I don't mean that in a negative way. But, you know, like I said, we're taking sure steps, and, you know, I just look forward to what the future holds. Now, another thing that I have mentioned to Sheriff Mathis, and we're just in discussions about it, but we were visiting, Benny and I were visiting Little Milligan Elementary, and everybody up probably here knows the principal, J.R. Campbell. And we had a great meeting with J.R. He's so excited, and we got to listen to some ideas that he had. But one idea, and it had been punched around a little bit, but he made the mention of some type of character that we could tie into to the sheriff's SRO program, and the program that they're currently working on, where we have somebody dress up in a costume, and he said something like where they would eat paper or eat cardboard, and they go in front of the elementary kids and make it fun and say, "Feed me, feed me." And I was actually talking to Sheriff Mathis on the phone about that idea, saying, you know, it won't leave me. And my son was in my living room, and he heard Sheriff Mathis and my conversation, and because I had asked Chris to start thinking about it and see if he could come up with something, and my son said, "Well, Dad," he said, "if you're looking for a character," he said, "why wouldn't you just have a bin, a dumpster, you know, and dress somebody up like a dumpster? It'd be big and wide and have the slot where you can feed the slot, show the young kids, feed me and feed me." And I thought it was an excellent idea. I was so excited about it, I called the sheriff right back. I'm sorry I called you so much. You know, I called him back, and it's something that we're dealing with. But getting to the advertisement, if we can do this thing right, it might be something that we can put on our beast of a dumpster. What do you call that big thing, Benny?
Aircraft carrier.
Yeah. But anyway, something that we could paint up, and I thought of the name of it for it, because we had talked about a name, Big Ben.
That worked.
Big Ben. And, you know, it's just something that we could use in advertising. And I don't know, Chris, is they grant monies for advertising to beef up your awareness other than, you know, some of the ones that we've utilized?
Some of the recycling equipment grant money that we've talked about might be used for that. In your case, you're probably going to want it all put on
Right.
actual equipment. I mean, it could go on, you know, a logo on that while you're doing it. That's a possibility. Specifically for advertising, no. The litter grant, I know there's some more options with that funding for that.
Where did Jan Comm get her money?
B-I-N.
Which money?
She had recycling materials, displays. She's with TDOT.
Right.
But she's with the environmental.
I assume that's probably through their environmental assistance office.
That might be something just for how Jan got her money.
Well, I know that in talking to Ms. Culver from TDOT with the stop litter program, she seemed to think that there's going to be some money available in the spring, so I'm going to try to stay on top of that. You know, and since we've talked, I was looking in that idea of actually having a almost like a character that we could create along those lines, and that's a great name. Have Big Ben, a type almost like a Cookie Monster character with a dumpster that we were talking, and if we could create that, and again the stop litter and how I think we could still pay for that, would have it a furry animal, big costume that you just like you see at the theme parks or whatever, and have the Tennessee stop litter on the back of it, it could help pay for that. and help, as long as we're sending that message out there and call it Big Ben and go into the schools, then we could, I think it's a character idea that these kids would never forget and incorporate this in the next year or so in our schools. You know, we're taking our baby steps, but I think it's a great idea to grow this program.
Well, that's what we're looking for is sustainable ideas. And, you know, this year that might not come about, but end of the school year next year is when we, just like Chris says,
We gotta find somebody that's gonna be willing to
Yeah.
play that
well, you
character.
know, I've nicknamed him Big Ben. It's B-E-N, you know, but I'm thinking Big B-I-N on the other hand, but I'm sure we'll be able to find a volunteer for that. But I appreciate the mayor's efforts. I know I appreciate the sheriff's efforts. I know he's a busy man, but I appreciate his help. I looked everywhere for a grant, you know, for these containers that are going into the schools. And Benny mentioned the grant money that Chris was over, and he just jumped all over it. And I thank you, Sheriff, and I applaud you.
Are you familiar with the work that Gary Barrett